All right, here's a short video on bottled water versus tap water. Let's watch a little bit of this. I'll break it down as we go and just show you some or explain some benefits about different details. Here we go.
It turns out that tap water is a better choice than bottled water because tap water is actually regulated by government officials. The fact is that somebody is regulating drinking water. I've been in water treatment plants, watched government officials monitoring this water every single day. Bottled water is often just tap water packaged. They don't put it through any other kinds of tests. You can drink water free out of the tap, or you can put it in a bottle and pay 99 cents for a pint. The problem with bottled water is you're not only getting the tap water, you're also getting the plastic in the bottle, which is then, of course...
Well, he mentions test it every day. Actually, they test it every so many hours, so it's constantly monitored.
Leaching into the bottle, and you're getting that into your system. When I was growing up, nobody had plastic water bottles. Now everybody has plastic water bottles. The problem with these plastic water bottles is they are all made out of a chemical called phthalates, which are known hormone disruptors. They mess around with your endocrine system. So in other words, you can test your body.
Okay, so phthalates and other things that mess with your system, the reason you're drinking sea salted water is to create an electrolyte water. And electrolyte water in your body helps your body detox naturally. So your cells have their own nature-built way to get rid of toxins when the electrolytes are present. Sodium and potassium specifically help the cell open, charge. It's like an electric current that happens. And I'm not into science in any kind of way where I would know this in detail, but I'll try to make videos on this subject later. But your body's natural detoxification process happens when it has proper electrolytes in the form of sodium, potassium, magnesium specifically, and of course chloride. So we'll get into that in detail later, but the point is when you add sea salted water to your drinking water, then you create a body's capacity to detox naturally. So when you have phthalates from plastic water bottles, or what he's going to mention, cosmetics, etc., your body's already taking charge and getting rid of that junk. So here we go.
Before you drink a bottle of water and after you drink a bottle of water, and you can actually find quantifiable amounts of this plastic in your body. It's not like drinking a pint of water is going to be a problem, but if you're drinking bottled water day after day after day after day, you're going to actually see your so-called body burden start to rise. Now you combine that with the several dozen personal care products that you use in a given day. That could be lipstick, it could be shampoo, it could be mascara, it could be nail polish remover. All these things start to basically build up and accumulate.
And basically you could be the smog you're breathing. It could be anything you're absorbing through your skin. Suntan lotion, I think he mentioned lotion, but the idea here is that your body's taking in these toxins, and your body has a natural way to get rid of them. And when you give your body sea salted water in the form of your drinking water, which is your electrolyte water, your body now then takes and kicks those things out naturally. It's its own inbuilt system.
Body's absorbing all of them. Very few of them have ever been tested individually for their effects on personal health. But one thing we're really certain about is they've never been tested in combination with each other. Buying filters is a great idea. Filters can always take out certain kinds of things, but as you know, the market has got lots of different kinds of filters. Some are very basic, cheap charcoal filters that'll take some of the odor out, for example, and then you can get all these reverse osmosis filters that...
And it is true. I used to use what he showed on screen there. I used to use the Brita filter type pitcher filter. Used to use the one that was mounted to the end of my faucet, and I would change out the cartridge every so often. And what I was doing was actually just getting rid of the chlorine gnarliness of that water. It tasted nasty. It's funny now that I know what I know now. The chlorine is basically a detergent for the water to get to your house from the water treatment plant. So it doesn't kill you. The water doesn't come to your house full of viruses and all kinds of poisons, basically, that could do you some serious harm. The chlorine is a way to get the water to your house clean. So what you do is you take the water out of the faucet of your house or at a restaurant, and you just leave it on the counter for 20 minutes. And that chlorine is going to off-gas out of the water. And if you have a swimming pool or know somebody that does, you know that they're constantly adding, or you're constantly adding chlorine to that water, because the chlorine, it evaporates. And so that's why there's things like conditioner that help the pool maintain the chlorine. And it's these things that you play with checks and balances on your pool's chemistry to keep it clean and sanitized versus getting algae. That's what would happen to the water if it came to your house without chlorine. So it needs to have a certain amount to get it and be safe for you to drink, even the chlorine. But if you want to get rid of the taste, you use filters or you leave it on the counter for 20 minutes. Filters are an excellent way to get rid of that taste and smell. So reverse osmosis, which is getting into now, is where I ended up finally, and that's what I used today. And I'll make another video on the one that I've purchased and used, and I'll show it to you.
Very, very expensive, but the truth is you're never going to be able to get everything out, because if we could, they would be taking that out at these municipal water treatment plants. You can't undo the problem once the problem is already out. It's kind of like closing the door after the horse has left the barn. Why is it that Manhattan has some of the cleanest drinking water in the United States? It's because where the water comes from, up in the Catskills and the Croton Reservoir, these are areas that are massively forested. What we want to do is be able to protect the source of our water, which is to say, the forests that protect all the water that we drink.
Well, that's true. I mean, why not? If we could actually do that, but most of us live in a place where we're not able to do that, get to the mountains and protect the streams and snow melt, etc., from before the water comes to us, or the aquifers, for instance. But what I do, just so you know, is I take my filtered water from reverse osmosis and I make a 3-gallon jug, which I don't have near me right now, but I'll show you later in another video. I make my water in that jug with my sea salt and my magnesium, and then I divvy it into smaller containers that I shove into my refrigerator, and then my wife and I have cold water throughout the day, and we just go through those bottles over and over, and I'll make another video about that too. But good, clean, cold water, or just good, clean filtered water is your baseline, and then after that, you add your sea salt to it to make your electrolyte water, which then gives your body the capacity to detox itself naturally. Nice and simple. It's very, very simple. Just a short video on this subject, and we'll add more later.